Jack treats me like we've been married for 20 years.
I kissed someone and it didn't mean anything, it just happened.
Who?
Ravi.
Sleep.
Why would she agree to let that scumbag move in under the same roof as my grandson?
Because Ravi's good at pulling the wool over people's eyes.
I just want us all to get along. Life's too short, ain't it?
You've heard about keeping your enemies close.
Ravi killed that man, the Rabbit's granddad.
You say a word about me to anyone, I will burn and destroy everything and everyone around you.
I despise him, Jack. You know what he did.
Hate him or love him, he's still in your head, Denise.
I need to get away from you.
Oh, who abandons their family at Christmas? You're staying here.
Yeah, quite the year for Denise. See, now Denise's colour is green. Okay, so you automatically think green with envy. Now, a lot of Denise's storylines have sort of revolved around lust and jealousy and all of that kind of thing. So, what you're basically asking here is could Denise become jealous enough to become a murderer, or could envy be very much the motive for Denise's or whoever is related to Denise? Like, so you've got Jack and Denise, Jack and Ravi, sorry, as Denise's men. What do you think?
I mean, looking at an envy part for Ravi, I think she's totally over Ravi. In fact, I think she's got the ick. It's safe to say.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely.
Jack's given me the ick this week.
Jack has become a complete and utter bastard out of nowhere, hasn't he? Really, it's.
Oh, he's swearing. You didn't tell me that, Rob.
Well,
it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Screw it.
Yeah.
I just think that. Yeah, I mean, Jack was, I think, a complete and utter branning this week. I think stuff that happened. So, I could see Max doing some of the stuff that Jack did this week. In fact, that moment where he started chucking Denise's suitcase around and told her that she wasn't going anywhere, you could have given those lines to Nish and it wouldn't have felt out of place, right?
Yeah, do you know, I was trying to justify it in my head, like, where's this side of Jack come from? Because I don't think we've ever seen that kind of aggression towards a woman from Jack before.
No, I mean, the thing is with this, the motivation behind that was... I mean, the motivation behind that was of course, Amy, and the fact that Amy kind of hinted that she was going to find this difficult. And then Jack basically sort of used Amy as a piece of emotional blackmail, basically, and said, if you leave us, my daughter will continue to self-harm, so you're not going to do that, surely. Like, what? Where has this come from, Jack?
I mean, do you know what? He's desperate. I kind of understand that from Jack, but it was how aggressive he got. It felt so forced. Like, Jack's never been like that. He's a policeman who's really against this kind of stuff, supposedly. He's the good guy. They should have kept him as the good guy instead of trying to make him out to be a villain. He's being a villain by cheating on Denise as it is. To then do something that's really out of character, I thought was just a bit too forced.
Do you know what the issue for me with Jack is? It's the fact that they released this 7-man promo. And I think Jack is the reason why I kind of wonder whether they should have just not released the 7 men and just left it as it could be anybody, because we had that brilliant moment this week with the reveal of the cufflinks in the suitcase that Alfie and Billy were selling. Oh God,
why we need to
the gall of
that.
The gall of that was brilliant. Like, it was such a trolling moment and a massive fu to any theorists out there. It could literally be anybody. But
and you predicted that, by the way.
Yeah, somebody sent us a clip from the Warford Weekly days where me and Alex were saying, "Oh, they're almost cufflinks are basically just going to end up on Billy's stall and it's going to be anybody." We were giggling and laughing about it. Little did we know that would become reality.
Bravo to you and Alex for that one. I was actually creased up when I saw that clip.
That was funny. Alex says hi, by the way, everybody. He's very well, bless him. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like if they'd have left it at that and the cufflinks are going everywhere, we know that George has got some, we know that Reese has got some, we know that Zach has got some, that would have been a real kind of Martin, like, oh my God, it could Martin's got some, it could literally be anybody. But I kind of feel like because they narrowed it down to those 7 men and threw in Jack and Phil out of nowhere where people weren't really considering Jack and Phil at that point, it sort of maybe lessened the impact of it could be anybody, didn't it?
It sort of makes me wonder, are the 7 men all just a decoy and it's none of them as well?
Which would
Would
come
they do
across,
that?
yeah, but that wouldn't. I think that would be them basically going, oh, this is it. Oh, surprise! It was none of them, and it's kind of just like, well, why didn't you just not give us those 7 men? Because it means it could
We
literally
could
be
say that
anybody.
about the 6 women, and we're constantly theorising that there's a 7th.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what's to say there's not an 8th man?
Yeah. Why not? Like 10.
Yeah, let's go for
By
it.
about April, we could be talking
15
about
with the
yeah.
amount of
Why
cufflinks.
not? By about next April, we could be talking about a
Oh,
13th woman.
why are the cufflinks? Why have they brought up the fact that the real platinum? Is there going to be some kind of?
I don't know. I felt like that was some. It was more to do with sort of just typical bad luck
Just
for
for
Alfie and
lols?
Billy. Yeah, just for lols, basically. But Jack has some cufflinks. We know he's, So let's talk
Mhm.
about Jack and how Denise might be his killer. I can't see it myself. Can you?
No, in fact, they've almost tried to make it too obvious that I can't imagine. I don't think Denise would do it either. Like, we know
No.
Denise's character. I don't. I mean, like we said before, like I said, maybe out of the 6 women and the person who could be killed and it being Dean, I think Denise would be the least likely to kill even Dean, if I'm honest with you, because
Mm.
she's just not like that. She's not violent. She's not aggressive. I know we had that little scene where she went, if you do anything,
Yeah,
I don't
but
know what I'll do. No,
yeah,
like, well, that's not telling
exactly.
the
She doesn't
truth,
even
right,
know
is
what she
it?
doesn't even know what she'll do. She
Yeah,
doesn't
I
know
don't
because
know,
she's never
because,
been in that situation before. At
yeah,
least when Linda threatened Dean, she went, "I will kill you." Like, so
yeah,
Denise couldn't
yeah,
even think of the words, bless her. The other thing, of course, is Ravi. Now,
yes,
I
of
kind of feel
course.
like now you say, and Ravi has felt like Denise's man throughout the entire storyline
Mm,
up to this point,
mm,
and that's kind of been kind of put on the back burner for now. And it seems that they just sort of
yeah.
have a relationship where they'll occasionally grouse at each other and then sort of go their separate ways. So I feel that if Ravi is the body on the floor, that's going to be more to do with Suki, possibly Stacey with defending Eve as well. But in terms of Denise, I kind of think possibly not. The only thing really going in Denise's favor is the fact that she is holding what appears to be the murder weapon, but we kind of don't know if that is the murder weapon or if it's even really a murder.
You don't know. She might have just been, maybe the bottle just got smashed on the floor and Denise is
Yeah,
trying to be
she's just
helpful and
tidying up.
picking up the
Just
top
tidying
part.
up.
Yeah,
Bless her. She likes
could
clean
be.
pub. I don't know. But then Denise can, Denise can be passionate. Denise can be fiery. Her
Yeah, she's
relationship with
definitely fiery.
yeah, and I'd say that her relationship with Jack is now. I mean, this is surely the end of Denise and Jack. Surely after all this is played out.
You'd think, do you know what, actually, this week? I can't believe how they've turned it around, because I was actually getting annoyed at Denise at the start of the week. So I thought, who are you to talk? When she said to Jack, oh, this is the end of our marriage and it's all on you. And I thought, well, it's not all on him though, is it? I
Mm,
know that he's gone and done some, you're both as bad as each other at this stage, but
mm.
to put it all on Jack is pretty harsh. And then by the end of the week, I'm like, oh, Jack, F
Oh,
off,
and
would you?
kill him, please,
Be
please
on
do.
floor, mate. I
Be
hope
on
you are on
floor.
floor.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about Jack when we come to Stacey in a minute, because
Yeah, of course.
presumably Jack kind of spreads himself across both women, ironically.
Okay.
So I would say that Denise would. I don't think Denise is going to kill Ravi. I don't think that's going to
The
happen.
only, the only way that she might kill Ravi is if he starts making a move on Chelsea again, and I feel like we would have seen a bit more to do
Yeah,
with
there'll be
that
more
before
build up.
Christmas
Chelsea's
Day.
been very
Yeah.
quiet the past couple of months, so I don't think it's got
Mm.
anything to really do with Chelsea. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. What have we got on Denise's soundtrack?
Oh, Denise's soundtrack. Sorry, let me just double check this one, because I have slept since I made these notes.
That was careless of
So
you.
there was a lot to do with love and desire and getting under your skin. That was the kind of theme with Denise's songs. So
Yeah,
kind of just to do with Ravi and the fact that, she were obviously lusting after him at one point.
yeah.
Um,
And also,
the
a
only
lot
thing
of the
that,
stories for Denise and the whole Jack and Stacey thing, that's all resolved around lust and sort of desire and all that
yeah,
kind of thing, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
I mean, there were Kiss by Prince, but again, we had a bit of a mention that.
Mm.
Remember when they all had that dinner and she found the laptop from Ravi?
Yeah.
She were making a playlist, and I remember her putting Kiss by Prince on because Nugget made a comment that he didn't know the song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't think of anything with that. But what I found interesting is her last song was a tune, by the way, Insomnia by Faithless.
Yes, that is a tune.
And I don't understand the relevance of that unless she's just not slept since she's found out about Stacey and Jack and is going to be going a little bit loopy because of it, which may cause her to do something. That's the only relevance I can see.
Yeah, I mean, you could understand that, right? If you could understand becoming a killer through lack of sleep. I
Sleep
certainly can.
deprivation can do
Oh,
things to you, yes.
I'm the same. If I haven't slept properly, I am the devil incarnate. Comments from our listeners. Nobody seems that kind of... Considering that in that Six Revealed documentary, apparently at one point people had voted Denise as most likely to be the killer. I think
The
things
second most likely on our poll,
yeah,
Denise was.
yeah. Which, considering Hannah Joss says I think Denise is more likely to go off on Stacey. Natasha Kingston said I'm more surprised that Stacey is still alive. To be perfectly honest with you, Linda Rose Stein says I don't see Denise nor Stacey's rage towards Jack as murderous. However, he might be the person on the floor. If it is him, perhaps he tried to intervene on someone else's behalf. So I think people aren't really thinking of Denise being the killer at the moment.
No, I agree, and I don't think I am, if I'm honest with you.
No. What would you give her out of 5 for being the killer?
I'm going to give her a 1 out of 5.
I think I'd have to say a 1 for Denise as well. Yeah, I think she's got motive, but I don't think she's got it. I don't think she'd get to that stage. And also, I kind of think that we've done with the reveals for Denise, and she's done her anger. I think at the moment she's going to be. It's interesting that the only 2 of the 6 that have currently got fractures are Stacey and Denise. I wonder if that's going to be something that kind of is something to keep an eye on. But in terms of Denise being the killer, no, 1. So 2 out of 10 for Denise being the killer. What about Ravi being on the floor?
I'm going to give him a 2 out of 5, I think, for Ravi being on the floor.
I mean, I think that Ravi is someone with a lot more potential in terms of story. Ravi is someone you could keep around for years, in all fairness. You know, I've said before, he's got that sort of Grant vibe about him where you've got a sexy bad boy who the audience like looking at, the audience, and he's a great actor as well. So there's a lot of potential. You know, he's got kids on the square, you've got Priya, you've got Avani, you've got Nugget. There's a few between him and Suki that could go on for years and years. So I think there's a lot more potential for Ravi. So yeah, I'm gonna be brave and say 1 out of 5 for Ravi. You know, I think he's very unlikely to be the body. No, 100%.
So 3 out of 5 for Ravi between us.
There you go. Who is our next lady, Ree?
I think we should discuss Stacey next.
Stacey Slater. Let's have a look at Stacey's year.
Every time I go to bed, I'm so tired I could cry. 3 kids, 2 jobs, no money.
I've just made another 10 off my feet.
Oh, glad someone's got some good news.
It's always this. And look, it wouldn't be like you were shine any more than you were on the beach in your bikini.
There's so many creeps on there. You saw last time, and that was on my feet.
Theo Hawthorne. I used to be Freddie Slater's teacher.
Can I?
Are you considering this?
No, of course I ain't. Well, I'm done. I'm done with the lot of it. Is it because you're back with your ex?
What have you told him?
Nothing. How does he know that, Eve? About Martin?
If he's obsessed with your friend, she's in trouble.
You sent me those messages.
Stacey! Stacey!
You sent the letters. You wanted me to think that I was being watched every single second of the day.
Now you get lost before I find something to charge you with.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
It's okay.
I know you're doing a lot for us, for me.
You're welcome. Stay if you want.
I mean, that's Stacey's year all in all. Sex and death. That's Christmas. Pretty standard year for Stacey.
Standard.
I mean, Stacey's year has been weird, hasn't it? Because all the way through this storyline, we've been thinking, right, okay, so Theo is Stacey's man. That makes
clearly,
sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Now Theo isn't even on the suspect list. Theo's in Scotland, and now Jack is suddenly Stacey's man. it's just, it's all very odd, which sort of makes me wonder about Jack as to, is this why they've done it? Because otherwise, why not just stick with Theo? It would have been a completely understandable sort of conclusion to the Theo story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting that they decided to make his court case happen before Christmas Day to take him off the suspect list.
Yeah.
So is it Theo?
That would be. I'm gonna say that would be a cheap trick.
It would. I agree. I actually agree with that, especially if they're saying it's definitely one of these 7 men,
It's
and then they
definitely
go,
not Theo.
Psych!
I would say that Stacey's main motivation at this point is going to be defense of someone she cares about. That would say to me Eve. Obviously, we'll really go into the Suki and Eve storyline when we get to the Suki discussion, because that flew up the rankings this week. Mind blowing.
Goodness gracious.
But I loved Stacey's reaction to discovering that Eve was alive this week.
That was amazing.
So well acted. So well acted, wasn't it? Like, incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible. Yeah, she really is.
She really is.
Also, just all of this with Eve is making me wonder certain things, Rob. But we'll get to that, shall we?
Yes.
Because I do think, like you just said with Jack, she could be annoyed. We know what he's just done on Friday's episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing. So Jack, by the end of the week, has basically grassed up Suki and Eve, and has got
no one likes a snitch, Jack.
No, especially
unless
a
it's
Copper.
Eve setting someone up. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. So Nish and Ravi are free to go, and presumably cause chaos for Suki and Eve on Christmas Day. And that would make Stacey angry, I would think. If something happens to Eve and Jack is responsible, Stacey get very angry, and Stacey hit Jack over the head with the Vic bust.
I mean,
she's got blood on
globe ornament, perhaps.
Yeah, she's got blood on her hands. She has killed in the Vic before. Yeah. Is that possible for Stacey to do again, do we think?
No, I don't see it being Stacey, if I'm honest.
If Stacey is the killer, I don't think it'll have anything to do with Jack. I think it will be to do with the Suki and Eve storyline. And maybe Nish will... Or Ravi, of course, will be attacking Eve, and Stacey will run in to defend. It all depends on if there's anything going on the other side of the Vic. You know, that final shot on the flash forward.
Mm-hmm.
What's behind the camera at that moment? You've got to kind of wonder. I mean, I like the idea of there's just lots of dead bodies just littered around the like Christmas Day massacre. There's various men with their head caved in.
All wearing cufflinks.
Glistening in the lights from the Christmas tree. But yeah, I think it's Stacey's involvement has got to be to do with Eve, because she loves that woman to bits, all right? And we know that, we can tell that. The best mates, the soulmates, essentially. And she wants Eve to be happy. And I think her and Suki have started developing a really nice relationship as well. That's nice, especially considering the year they've had. They've had their ups and downs of Suki and Stacey, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I like where they are now at the moment.
Did you like Suki's reaction when she found out about Stacey and Jack? I loved that.
Has it?
She's like, oh. By the way, I am loving that Suki's out and proud now. I'm loving this.
Great, isn't it?
He was like, grabbing Eve's hand.
Yeah.
Like
what are you going to do?
She's got her spark back, hasn't she, now that she can do that? You can really feel it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
How long's that going to last?
And I loved that moment where and it was a flash of the old Suki when she went up to Jack and said, I'll tell Denise. Oh, well, Denise knows. All right, well, what about the rest of your family? Yeah, I'll tell them then instead. It's just classic Suki, that was brilliant. So yeah, I think that will be Stacey's motivation if she is the killer. Obviously, she has blood on her hands as well, so we've got to kind of wonder where that blood has come from. And that could be and how it gets onto Stacey's hands. That's can't think.
It could even be that Eve has been attacked and it's Eve's blood, for all we know.
Could be.
She can try to comfort Eve.
This is the thing. I'm very much of the opinion that the things we see in that flash forward are going to sort of be not unrelated, but sort of that we'll understand why each thing has happened and why is there blood on Stacey's hands. That could be anybody. She could have been, like you say, Eve could have been attacked and she could have just been looking after Eve and
Well, Chris
equal in their
Crenshaw
hands.
has said we're going to be guessing until the last minute. So they're
Good.
clearly going to have 6 different scenarios where
Yeah.
like, it's him, it's him, it's him, it's him.
Yeah,
So,
right up to the last second.
brilliant.
What about Stacey's music? What have we got there? Anything to get out of
Stacey's
them?
music.
Yeah.
Stacey's was all a bit cheeky Stacey, a little bit, getting in the vibe, getting into the swing of things,
Raving it up, having a laugh.
Lady
that
Marmalade
sort of
sums it up. That was one of her song choices. By All Saints, which a lot of thought went into that with Stacey's age and everything. Honestly, kudos to whoever's done all these soundtracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one that was interesting. I mean, she had Cheap Thrills by Sean Paul. That mentions putting makeup on and getting ready for the dance floor,
which is going on in her trailer. That's going on in her trailer, though, isn't it? Yeah. So exactly. I don't know what we can pull from that, but that's maybe related to that. So I don't know what that means, though.
Well, her other song was "I'll Stand By You," right? Mm-hmm. Girls Aloud. "I'll Stand By You." I would assume if you want to read into that, it's Eve.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
The last song was "Speed Drive" by none other than Charlie XCX. Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's just so well put together, 100%.
That song is actually about loving your best friend as well.
There you go. Oh, it's genius. Genius.
Honestly, I told you. Yeah.
Give someone a raise. Promote that person, I say. Yeah, really good.
I think that this implies to me that whatever happens with Stacey on the day is to do with Eve. But who knows? Maybe Theo does come back. Why have we had all this with Theo? Was this all just building up for Jack to be there for Stacey? Surely not.
That's the weird thing. Like, it would have made sense for Theo just to kind of die on Christmas Day. That would have been an understandable sort of conclusion to his story. But to sort of end the Theo stuff the week before Christmas and then sort of get this whole thing involved. Like, 2 weeks ago, we weren't talking about Jack and Stacey, really. And now all of that has kind of been really pushed forward in time for Christmas Day. I don't know. So Stacey killing Jack, I can't see that happening, really.
No, I don't see that happening.
The only thing to say about Jack being dead is the fact that obviously Lauren and Penny are returning. Now you've got to wonder why they're both coming back to the square. They're both in funeral. They're both wearing black in their promo pictures. Does that suggest a funeral? Do
I think that Stacey's going to kill? No. Do I think it could be Jack on the floor? Yes.
You said last week that you think Jack is quite likely. Like, Jack's quite high up on your suspect list. Just because, A, it would be a big surprise if Jack was killed off. And I think it would be a big surprise if they suddenly killed Jack off.
What if Amy does it when she finds out about
maybe
Jack and Denise?
Possibly. A comment from Lexi on Twitter says, I think Stacey kills Nish or Ravi with a knife, resulting in the blood on her hands, but Jack walks in and takes the blame for Stacey, and that's why she's standing in front of a knight in shining armour. Ooh.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wouldn't mind a bit of retribution. I wouldn't mind a bit of retribution for Jack, because he needs it, because this week he was an arsehole. So I think I need to like Jack again, I think. Anything else of other thoughts to add to Stacey?
I've had one on our Instagram page from Abby94J who said, I'm not sure if this will happen, but what if this storyline has something to do with Whitney leaving? Stacey is somehow involved with the murder and Whitney protects her for the sake of Lily and baby Charlie. I don't recall seeing why or how Whitney leaves, and I can't stop thinking it's something to do with the storyline.
Maybe. I mean, I've got to be honest, I feel like Whitney would be more involved in this storyline. I think Whitney would very much suit this storyline, to be perfectly honest with you, because Whitney's had a fair share of this sort of thing.
Bad men.
yeah, the worst men. So I think that Whitney would suit this storyline, but I think that her stuff is very much going to be centered around. We had a brief moment with Whitney and Zach this week with fostering. Meet this kid that they're fostering, so we'll kind of see how that goes over the coming weeks. But yeah, Stacey, what do you think? Out of 5?
Out of 5 for her being the killer, I'm going to go a 2.
I'm going to say a 2 for Stacey. So that's 4 out of 10 for Stacey. Jack, I think we said Jack. Yeah, we haven't done Jack yet. So what do you think for Jack out of 5 for being on the floor?
I'm going 5, I'm going to regret this, but I've already given someone else 5, but I can give him whatever I want. So
you absolutely can. I'm going to say 2 or 3. Let's make things interesting. I'll say a 3 for Jack. So that's 8.
Ooh, 8
out of 10 for Jack. Interesting. So we just come on to the final lady, which is Suki Panesar. And my goodness me, what a year Suki has had.
When Nish and Deep was sent down, it didn't take me long to feel free. I hadn't thought about sex for 20 years. And then Eve came along. I'm yours, and I always will be.
Just tell me you love him and I'll leave.
Just go, please. Today, I'm going to do the right thing. I know where my future lies.
Hey, Sache Pasha ji, please bless them with a happy married life.
I don't love you, and I don't think I ever have.
You are my wife, and you will love me.
What have you done?
How can you think that I just found her like this? Get an ambulance, go!
Hide the suitcase.
You must have just fallen down the stairs.
Whatever it takes, Eve. I don't care anymore.
What have you done to her? She's leaving you, Nish. Me and her, we're leaving tonight. There's nothing you can do to stop us.
Kill her.
I don't care where you go, but you have to go and never come back.
I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
Where am I supposed to go? I don't care.
She is, and always will be, the love of my life.
Quite the time for Suki. I mean, I have to say, let's talk about this week first before we sort of talk about the potential of Suki being a killer. But wow, Balvinda Sopal, my God, that woman can act. Amazing performances this week. I mean, the whole confrontation between Nish and Suki, that was electric. And just the way that Suki kind of spoke to Nish, finally stood up to him at last. Well, she's been, I'd say that Suki's never been afraid of standing up to Nish, really. But just that moment where they spoke about the murder that got Nish put in prison, and what we suspected, I think, when this all first started with Nish, was that it wasn't the husband, it was the wife, and that Nish had killed the wrong bloke. The fact that she said all that to him, and Nish was just kind of horrified and realised, like, what was going on with Suki. It was just brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, he's just a pathetic little man, isn't he, Rob?
He's a worm. He's a worm. And I have to say, with Nish, where is the story potential for Nish from here? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed
agree.
Nish. I've enjoyed Nish as a character, okay? And I think Navin Chowdhury is fantastic. But you don't keep someone like Nish around long term, all right? Yes, he's got that business acumen about him, all right? So, in the same level that Max did. But what I mean is, Max never did anything of the sort that Nish has done. You can't keep someone like Nish around long term.
If he's not dead or locked up, then
he's got to be. He's
what
got
place
to
is
be.
there?
I have said Nish throughout the entire year, all right? I've wobbled now and again, but I still think it's Nish. I still 100% think it's Nish on the floor. It's got to be. It's got to be, surely.
I agree, to be honest. It's just felt too obvious throughout the year.
That's the only thing against
that
it.
there's two men and that it could be one of two men, in which case, it'd be more likely.
See, now the other thing with Nish is I can very well see the obvious thing to say would be that Suki kills Nish, all right? And that would feel poetic and that would feel justified and you'd understand it and logical and all the rest of it. However, I think there's many people that would quite happily kill Nish. For a start, I mean, out of the women, Stacey, if someone was to attack Nish, that would, Stacey would. Suki obviously would. A lot of theories going around that Eve could potentially be a seventh and that she offs Nish. Perfectly possible.
Kathy. Grievances with him.
Yeah, Kathy. Sharon's had some run-ins with him
Sharon
this year.
Linda, not so much.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like any of them would quite happily leap in and whack him over the head.
Denise,
like that was
because
Denise.
of all the Ravi stuff.
Yeah,
potentially, they're linked.
Nish has enemies coming out of his eyeballs, and what I would also say is also closer to home, Ravi would feel perfectly poetic for Ravi to kill Nish. Same with Vinny. I think that, Vinny's
Vinny wants to sort himself out, though.
Oh, I know, right?
Which side are you on, Vinny?
He never knows, does he? I loved how easy it was for Suki to convince Vinny what was going on. So easy.
It were, weren't it? I know it were.
Bless
I knew
Vinny.
that she would straight away.
Oh,
Wow.
he's a bless him. But I can see Vinny killing Nish, in all honesty, just as I can see Ravi killing Nish. You know, it would all make sense.
I dare say Ravi's got more motivation than Vinny at the minute because the
Yeah, 100%.
detective came in, didn't he, and said to him,
Yeah,
"Your dad's painting you out to be very guilty."
Yes. And also, when Eve and Ravi were in the woods, I think Ravi was perfectly not like he's horrified by Nish a lot of the time. All right, he wants to have that relationship with him, but I think he's horrified to what Nish is expecting him to do in order to earn that. And Nish killing Ravi, you know, is he going to kill two of his father figures off? That's, I think, perfectly possible. Yeah, but and Ranveer as well. I think it's perfectly.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, whatever. But I think that's perfectly possible. I really, really do.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think if Nish is on the floor, do I think it'd be Oh God, yeah, I do. But then I think, like you said, there's so many other people who could be so likely to kill Nish.
I think the one thing also to pull out of the flash forward scene is that look that Kathy gives Suki.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is suggested all the way through it that this is very much sort of Panasar related. And I mean, if it's not Nish on the floor, I'll be stunned. Whoever else it is, I really will. Because
I wouldn't be stunned if it were Nish.
No, it would feel justified. It would feel.
Which is why I think it's not him, but.
It's the only thing going against it, really, isn't it? Is that the fact that it's too obvious.
Too obvious.
Now, I mean, it was because I remember when the flash forward first came around, it was kind of like, oh, well, that's Nish then, surely. Yeah. And that hasn't, you know, yes, we've wobbled. Yes, all the men have got potential reasons as to why they could be on the floor. But Nish's main reason for being on the floor has never left him. And in fact, if anything, he's got worse as the year has gone on. You know, so he is a pretty horrific human being, all in all. He's got lots of people that would like to kill him. So, including all the Suki fans.
Oh, so, you know what, though? That were absolutely abysmal when he were physically assaulting Suki as well. I was like, do you know what? I hope you do kill him.
Yeah.
Do it.
Again,
Get rid of him. No one wants him here.
Out of the 6 women, I think Suki is the most likely to turn killer, and it would perfectly make sense for her to kill Nish. Oh,
definitely. Or even Ravi, because Ravi tried.
Kill Ravi,
Ravi set her up with the whole Ranveer thing and then the Eve stuff as well. So
yeah.
But I think she'd be more likely to do it to Nish, to be fair, because we've seen her again having that little relationship with Nugget. Would she kill Nugget's dad? Would that man not?
I think. I mean, there was some nice. I love the relationship between Suki and Nugget. I really, really do. And there was some really nice moments this week where Nugget sort of turned up at the house and like, oh, what's going on? I don't like it.
Can I spend Christmas with you?
Yeah, bless him, poor little Nug. So yeah, there's a lot riding on Suki's future. I mean, can you see a future with Suki and Eve? Are they going to be allowed to have this happy? Are they going to be allowed to have a relationship? Or is something else going to happen?
This is what I'm trying to figure out what happens next. Because if Nish stays on the square, how can Suki and Eve possibly stay on the square and be safe?
Well, they can't. Simple as. So that means Nish has got to go.
Someone's got to go out of these.
Yes.
Out of these 3, really.
Yeah.
So who is it? It's more likely to be Nish.
It's more likely to be Nish.
But I don't
because Nish and Suki are over.
It's too obvious.
Yeah, but Nish and Suki are over. So there's no reason for Nish to be around still. In terms of the story, do you know what I mean? Yes, he could stay around for a little bit longer and like do his final revenge plot, but other than that, he is a character with a shelf life. Okay, as good as he's been and as entertaining as I found Nish, genuinely, a character like Nish has a shelf life, and this is the perfect time for his story to come to an end. He knows about Eve. His marriage with Suki is now over. Suki has nothing to pretend with him anymore. So. And he is now out and he can cause chaos. Now, obviously, that kind of maybe puts Jack in the line of Suki because he is the reason that those 2 are now out again. Oh, I don't know. But
do you want me to discuss Suki's soundtrack?
I do. Go on.
So her first song's by an Indian singer called Asha Bhosle. And the lyrics in this are just incredible because I translated it to English to find out what he was saying. And it's things like... in this place, I have no control over my happiness and no choice in my sorrow.
Wow.
This heart of mine answer, it's so ashamed of itself.
Wow, that's
where as far as the eye can see, there are only dust and storms. Like, could that be more
Suki's
fitting
story.
to Suki's story?
That's Suki's story in a nutshell, isn't it? Yeah.
Are we meant to think that this is who her daughter's named after?
Ash. Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting about Suki's soundtrack, it was Suki's soundtrack that started making me notice patterns. So there's a running theme that there's like 3 of the songs on there are talking about losing your mind and being out of your mind.
Yeah.
Right. But another interesting, which again, that could imply that it's Suki quite easily. But the interesting thing is, out of the 6 women, Suki's got a song on there by Florence and the Machine, The Dog Days Are Over. And in the trailer, we know which artist is used. It's a song by Florence and the Machine. So why has Suki got a song in there?
Yeah. See, it's all pointing towards Suki. In the trailer, Suki is holding a photo of her family, which gets dropped and smashed on the ground, and then she makes a run for it. She's the only woman who's outside of the Vic, and she's running. Now, obviously, her and Eve are going on the run together.
Yeah.
We are led to believe that if she is standing in the Vic at the end of Christmas Day, that's not going to happen. So is Eve okay? Is Eve in danger? Is Eve gonna make it out of Christmas Day? There's so much. Yeah, there's so much that points it to being Nish. So much that points it to being Suki related at the very least. Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be Nish on the floor. It 100% has to be. I'm telling you now. Comment from our listeners. I had an email from Samantha Lawton who says, "Love your podcast. Think you should do a double episode for the Christmas special." This seems to be turning into that, Sam.
Yes,
so you should be happy with that. My theory is a double murder. I think that Dean attacks Gina. Linda walks in and protects her and kills Dean. Then she goes downstairs and Denise has killed Nish, helped by Kathy. Think they saw Suki being attacked by Nish and defended her. Possible, because I think also the 6 women are supposed to be kind of joined together. You know, Stacey and Denise maybe not so much, but they are defending each other. Stacey would definitely defend Suki at this stage, I think. Eve would, and then maybe run away, and that kind of leaves Suki to sort of sit back and think, "Oh my god, what have I now got to deal with?" You know, so there's all sorts. Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, that kind of fits with what my comment says from Swanneck on Instagram, which is, I think Suki kills Nish and all the others help her to cover it up because others have their own grudge against him, like Stacey and Kathy. And then they've just mentioned the Sharon and Phil paternity thing will run for a lot longer. The blood on the wedding dress is a red herring. So again, another Suki kills Nish and the others help her cover it up because none of them like Nish.
Yeah. All right then. So out of 5, what are you giving Suki for being the killer?
4.
I'm going to say 5. So that's 9 out of 10 for Suki.
Wow.
And I'm going to give 5 to Nish. Has to be Nish.
I'm going to give 4 to Nish.
9 out of 10. So at the moment then, it would seem our final prediction is Nish is on the floor and Suki does it. Yeah?
Yep. Between us both. Yeah.
Between us both, that's our official final prediction. Yeah. Oh, that feels heavy to say. Oh. Okay then. One last thing that we need to discuss. Oh, and by the way, I'd also say Suki gets my gold star this week.
Oh, same, 100%.
So 2 gold stars for Suki. Stick it in the record. But we've got one more thing to discuss. That is the potential that it's none of the women. And we have a 7th. Who could that be? And as we say, it could be none of them. There has been so much talk over the year of there being a 7th woman. And I can imagine them doing a thing where a 7th woman has killed, and then after the episode's aired, a new promo picture gets released of a 7th woman amongst the 6 in a new dress. Yellow dress, I think. I think yellow would probably be their colour.
Or a pantsuit.
Or a pantsuit, you know. And that is complete. And then we have the 7th story going forward. And there's many potentials as to who that could be. With the Dean storyline, I think, as we've said, we've got Gina, we've got Anna, we've got Cindy. I can totally imagine Cindy killing Dean. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. definitely. And
Mm.
if anyone's going to have it in them, it'd be Cindy protecting one of her daughters.
Yeah, exactly. Gina would do it out of self-defense. Anna, I remember saying a few weeks ago that there was a really mad random little scene with Anna where they on Halloween where I think it was Zach turned around to her. She was dressed up as a detective, and she, it's always the detective. It's
Yeah.
always the detective. I think that's niggled at me ever since then. And I can imagine Anna walking in, seeing Gina in trouble, whacking Dean over the
I would
head,
not be
and Linda.
remotely surprised if it were
And
that.
Linda is left to clean it up, and because she's drunk, she thinks she did it.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, or she's just cleaning it up because
Yeah, that's a potential. Then with Nish, Eve obviously has got to be a classic suspect for that. That has to happen.
My money's on Eve being a seventh woman.
If
Also,
it's anybody else, yeah.
Me and my sister-in-law were discussing this the other day in front of my mum.
Okay.
Who is there a seventh woman?
Yep.
Talking about Eve. And my mum went, oh, well, what about the seven Eves? And I was like, what? She went, haven't you heard of the seven Eves? I'm like, no, what are you? Oh, my mum just solved it. What are you talking about?
What are the
And she
seven
said,
Eves?
oh, yeah. There's a thing where there's a theory that like we all the seven daughters of Eves and that all women evolved from these seven daughters of Eve.
What?
The seven Eves. And there's like a sci-fi book written on it, novel, everything.
Wow.
So
Imagine. Can you imagine that? I mean, does your mum watch EastEnders that religiously?
no, she don't watch it at all. She used to.
Imagine that.
Day.
Someone who's not even watched it this year solves it in an instant.
Yeah, honestly, and me and my sister-in-law looked at each other and were like, what? Oh, I think you've just solved it. So now I'm adamant that it's Eve who's the seventh woman and who does it. Like, I'm adamant.
Well, then I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, and in fact, to be honest with you, I might sack you and get your mum on the podcast from Christmas Day onwards. That might have to happen.
Anything else, but yeah, go for
yes.
it.
We'll bring her in as mystery consultant every now and again. And then, of course, obviously with Nish, like I've said before, you've got the Ravi, Vinny type of thing. I can sort of see that happening. Would they do it so that they've made it out to be a woman that kills a man all year, but then have a man kill a man? Would that happen, do you think?
Yeah, because you could easily have, like you said, Ravi killing Nish, Vinny killing Nish, Phil killing Keanu, killing Phil.
Cat killing one of them as well. You know, Cat. A lot of people think that Cat might be on the seventh list as well.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying Cat's surely the seventh woman. She's been involved with the whole Sharon and Phil stuff, and she knows about Sharon's secret.
Yeah,
I think it's highly likely there's a seventh woman.
It does seem to suggest it, doesn't it? It really,
and
really
seven
does.
Men. Why have 6 women and 7 men?
Exactly. That's something else as well. The fact that, and Kat would be a classic one to stick in there as well, because you've got the fact that you've got Phil and Keanu. That square has been so prominent throughout the entire year. And for Kat to be the only one that's absent out of that in the official lineup feels a bit sus, doesn't it?
But I still think Eve.
Yeah.
Also with the Suki and Stacey soundtrack, I'm like, oh, there's too many clues that this being to do with Eve, actually.
Yeah.
What if there's... No, it won't be Eve now, but what if there's 2 bodies, but one's a man and one's a woman? We've not even
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's fair to say that Christmas Day is going to be pretty bloody epic. And it was probably going to be the best Christmas Day episode we've had for many, many a year. Whatever happens, the 6 storyline has been incredible. It really has. It has got the fans talking. It has got people and the viewers excited. The cast clearly look like they are having the time of their lives doing this storyline. And everybody who is involved in the production of the show at the moment, from Chris Clenshaw all the way through to the storyliners, the writers, they have picked this show up and made it incredible. So thank you for that. You've given us so much to talk about this year. And I cannot wait to see what 2024 is going to bring in the run up to the 40th, the aftermath of the 6 storyline, because apparently the 6 begin officially on Christmas Day. Like, they're not really the 6 at the moment. We know they're the 6, but they don't know they're the 6. So they're going to be conjoined from Christmas Day onwards. So that's all going to be what 2024, I think, will be about. But yeah, wow, absolutely amazing. And just think, ladies and gents, when you next see us, we will know. We will be back same time next week because we've got a whole week. The way it's fallen this year, we're just back in our normal. We're back in our normal schedule. So by the time we come in, we'll have a full week to discuss, and I cannot wait.
And the Christmas Day episode.
Christmas Day episode, Boxing Day. It's gonna be epic. Let us know what you thought of Christmas Day. Send all your comments to us, and you can do that by doing the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Instagram and Twitter at E20 After Dark. Like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Albert Square After Dark, and find us on all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a little Christmas coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Woo! My God, I have a lot of editing to do for this episode.
You do.
I can't wait to
Rob.
get cracking. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. However you celebrate, have a wonderful Christmas. We will see you same time next week. Until then, it is a ho 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 from me.
And a Merry Christmas from me.
Goodbye. See you then. We're going to know soon.